yogis. Well, maybe it's morning with you, maybe it's not. It's morning here in Brighton where I'm filming this video. And this sequence is going to be one which will help you feel nice and kind of smooth and lubricated with your spine. So it's good for mornings, but it's really good for any time of day as well. Let's begin our practice by sitting down. I'm going to suggest sitting in a cross-legged shape. Rock to one side and pull back and to the side any flesh from that buttock, and do the same on the other side so that your sitting bones have got a nice solid foundation. You don't need to be kind of sitting up like poker straight and shoving your shoulders back, but there's a sense of relaxation but also lifting through the spine. Roll your shoulders back a couple of times and a couple of times forward. And just let the hands relax, sitting relaxed in the lap. And please be aware, as with any home yoga practice, that you undertake this practice under your own steam. If you feel any pain for any reason at any point, which I really hope you don't and you shouldn't do, if you do, just back off. Do something else, take a rest, okay? So everything's taken under your own responsibility. Start to cast your gaze down towards your feet, or you can close your eyes if you wish. And we'll begin to draw in our focus from the external into the internal. Beginning to connect with your breath. Now, what does that mean? It just means noticing where you can feel your breath most predominantly in the body. You don't need to do anything fancy with your breath other than just be mindful of the natural inhale and the exhale through the nose. In a friendly fashion, just bringing your attention onto the breath and seeing if you can just follow the breath in and out in its natural state a few times. You might find it helpful to count 1 on the inhale and 2 on the exhale. In this practice, much like any online yoga video, I encourage you to follow my voice rather than looking up too much at the screen for external visual clarification. See what the instructions mean for you and your own body. Place your hands gently onto your knees. You can open your eyes if you wish, but just keep your gaze casually down on the ground in front of you. Begin to rock side to side. It's a small movement to start with, so it may be that barely any movement is noticeably happening. So when I say rocking, it's like you're sending your spine to the right, to the left, back and forth, side to side, right and left. Maybe the shoulders want to become involved, so it becomes more of a kind of flowy sway. Next time your spine comes towards the right, just take a little lean this way. Keep your chin tucked towards the chest. It creates length down the spine. It feels nice. And send yourself back into the center, rocking once again side to side with the spine. And next time you come towards the left, just take a bit of a rest over this side in stillness. So noting any sensations around the body, maybe in the right side of the body or around the pelvis. And gracefully sending yourself back into the center. We're going to continue with this rocking motion now, but going to be bringing the hands to either side of the body as you rock from side to side, kind of like you're on a really you're on the ocean and it's really wavy and your boat's rocking side to side. Using the hands to press in for some momentum either side. It's lifting you back to the center and then sending you to the other side. Next time you come towards the right, press into that hand and just float left arm over your head like a nice kind of semicircle shape over the top of your head. Tucking the chin towards the chest. There's a tendency here for the shoulders to kind of roll forward or sort of like roll towards each other, but we're going to try and open the chest a little bit. We're going to do that by rolling the shoulders back a tiny bit. So rolling back open with your top shoulder and the bottom shoulder. It's going to start to open the chest a little. Just breathing into the left side. You can rotate your left wrist above your head. That feels quite nice for the wrist joint, but if it doesn't, if you don't like that, obviously stop. Soften out of this shape, send yourself back into the center, palms on the knees, just rotate the shoulders backwards, just freeing up anything that got a bit stuck around there, sending the shoulders forwards. Just let the wrists get involved. As you move your shoulders, let the elbows get involved. Nice circular movements with the wrists, the elbows, the shoulder joints, waking them up. Wonderful. Let's start rocking side to side once again. So using momentum through the hands. And next time you come towards the left, resting on that side, pressing into the left hand. Float half a semicircle with your right arm over your head. And opening out a little, rolling the shoulders back. Take a glance at your right arm above your head if that feels okay for your neck. If it feels dodgy, just gracefully looking back down onto your hand that's on the mat, chin towards the chest. Rotate your right wrist. Lovely, nice lateral stretches for the side body there. Again, we'll roll the shoulders. Maybe do one at a time in opposite directions, if that's possible and you're that way inclined. I find that a bit challenging, but I try. Hands come back down onto the knees. We're going to do a shape now, which is, it's a version of cat and cow, and we're used to seeing cow and cat, like in a tabletop shape, like 4-point kneeling, but we're going to take it seated. So palms on the knees, and you bring your attention down to your pelvis. So you're going to tilt the pelvis behind you. That basically means trying to stick your butt out. Send the chest forward a tiny bit. It's lifting on the chin. You don't have to shove your head towards the sky. That's your cow shape. Reversing that movement, tucking the pelvis underneath your body, rounding at the shoulders, upper spine becomes concave, rounding, chin towards your chest. Perhaps you even sit back a little bit. This is your seated cat. Unfurl that movement, starting at the pelvis for your seated cow, rocking forward, and sitting back a little for your seated cat. Let's take these a few times, nice and slow. Kind of flowing forward in a wave kind of motion. A couple more times for these cat and cows while you're seated. Cool. Send your legs out in front of you so that they're lengthened. Give them a little jiggle. So just bending the knees, jiggle them side to side. Feet going side to side, jiggle up and down once again. And bring them back in towards you for your cross-legged shape. Palms come back down onto the knees. Now we're going to be circling the spine. So we did a kind of side to side motion with the spine. This time we're going to be going all the way around. So tucking the chin a little towards the chest, creating length down the spine. Sending yourself a little way towards the right, circling forwards towards the left, sitting back a little, drawing circles. Circling the spine. And send yourself round the opposite way now. So circling towards the left, coming round the front to the side and back. Cool, last one. Lovely. Send the legs out in front of you, give them a jiggle, give your hands a shake above your head, shake your arms out to the side, maybe kind of shimmy the shoulders. Okay, sweeping the legs to the side of you, letting yourself come up onto a high kneeling position. Inhale your arms up to a nice T shape. Just imagining, just close your eyes for a minute and just imagine real width across your shoulders. Circle the arms, keeping them extended. Circle them forwards. It's like you've got two paintbrushes in either hand and you're drawing big circles either side of you. Send them back the opposite way now, so behind. Lovely. Okay, letting that motion become smaller. Eventually finding stillness. Bring your arms in front of your body, interlace your fingers and turn your palms so that they're facing away from you. Little bit of waking up for the backs of the shoulders right here. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Let's raise this shape above your head. Have a glance at your hands above your head. And once again bringing it down in front of the body in front of you. You can stay soft in the elbows if you wish, but if you want to energize a bit more, you can press out through the hands and maybe keep a little more tension around the elbows. Just raising the shape above your head and in front of your body. Next time the shape is above your head, take a little lean towards your right. Staying here. And softly back to center, leaning a little way towards the left. Repeat this one more time each side. And just sitting yourself back down now into a low kneeling kind of shape. Roll the shoulders back. Roll the shoulders forward. Rotate the wrists. It's nice to wake up the wrist for some synovial fluid this way. Raising back up onto your knees. You can keep the tops of your feet flat on the floor if you wish, or tuck your toes behind you. Just kind of lights up different parts of the body. So maybe test that out. Feet flat behind you, toes tucked. Just change through that a couple of times and find the right one for you. Float your arms up so you've got making a prayer above your chest. Interlace your fingers, but you keep your index fingers free. So raising up, growing tall out of the armpits, tall out of the hips and the side body. Lean a little way towards the left. Keep your chin towards your chest or glance at your hands. You choose what's best for your neck here. Coming back towards the center. We'll take this lateral stretch toward the other side as well, so leaning a little way towards the left, sending energy out through these pointed index fingers. To the right once again. Some people call this shape crescent moon. Back to center, one more to the left. Lovely. Let go, softening back down, low kneeling, rotate the wrists, rotating at the elbows. It's rolling the shoulders. Coming back up onto your knees once again. Have your palms facing down in front of you, and you've got a bend in your elbows. Just really carefully, going to take a little twist towards the right. Back to center, a little twist towards the left. So you're not kind of shoving your torso like quickly side to side. It's more like this movement is coming from the spot just below your belly button. That's where your core is. Really nice. Lowering yourself back down to low kneeling now, and we're going to be making our way onto a 4-point kneeling shape, which is called tabletop in yoga. Now, a nice tip is to pad your knees all the time for this. If you're a yoga teacher or you're someone that does a lot of yoga, it's just super kind to your body to let your knees be padded. Like, it's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of taking care of yourself for comfort. So knees are on your blanket. If you want to pause and go and get one, that's totally cool. So knees are roughly underneath your hips, your wrists are under your shoulders, or slightly forward of your shoulders with your hands. It creates a slightly softer angle, and it's not building up so much tension if you're a person who has any shoulder issues. Just pushing the ground away with the hands, just creating stability around the shoulders here. Tilting the pelvis, letting the belly drop, glancing forward, cow shape. Reversing the movement into cat, tucking the pelvis under, pushing the ground away, arching the upper spine. Let's take a couple more cat and cows for ourselves. You might want to match up your inhale and your exhale. You might like to exhale on your cow. Inhale on your cat, or vice versa. It's really up to you. There isn't like hard and fast yoga rules about this. And bringing your shape back into neutral now, back into stillness. Catch your breath. Start to draw circles with your pelvis. And circles the opposite way. And perhaps a figure of 8 to one side. And draw your figure of 8 going the opposite way. Might not be so easy on the other side. Maybe one side's easier than the other. Doesn't have to exactly match up at all. What your body needs and what it does. It's going to be very different from me or from other people. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just right for you. Okay, finding yourself back in stillness, back in your tabletop, neutral spine, crown of your head is drawing forward. Keep your elbows soft and take a little glance to your left and see if you can spot your left toes. Back into center. Glance to the right, see if you can spot your right toes. Back to center, and do this one more time each side. Coming through center softly. Lovely. Couple more, cow and cats. If this feels like it's building up on your wrists, you can absolutely carefully bring your forearms onto the ground and take these shapes. Forearms on the ground, forearm cow and cats. Just finding your way to tabletop once again. Starting to lower or send your hips behind you, backwards towards your feet, towards your heels. Knees are slightly apart for a child's pose. Can rock your forehead side to side. Send your weight a little more forwards now, coming back into your tabletop. Tuck your toes behind you. Thinking strong thoughts, hover your knees off the mat. Carefully lower them back down. Press into the hands, press into the tucked toes, hover the knees, and then send your knees upwards, your hips upwards, sitting bones upwards, pelvis upwards, everything going upwards with your bum area for downward facing dog. Pressing down and away through the hands, pedal your legs if that feels good for you. And keeping your gaze on your toes like they're the most interesting thing you've ever seen. Just walk your feet one in front of the other towards the front of your mat to find your hands. Bend in the knees, your forward fold, crown drawing towards the ground. Pressing into the mat with your feet. Lengthening the legs, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. No hurry at all. Unfurling the spine, head's the last thing to come up, palms face forward. Catch your breath. Tuck your chin towards your chest, press into the feet, roll down piece by piece, rolling the spine down, crown of the head coming down towards the ground. Press into the feet, roll up. Roll the shoulders back. Roll the shoulders forward. Sweep your arms up either side. Make a prayer above your head. Interlace your fingers. Your middle finger stays pointing upwards, similar to how we did when we were kneeling. Make sure there's a little micro bend in your knees and your pelvis is tucked under just a tad, so we don't have too much accidental back bending going on. Growing tall up from the hips, tall from the armpits, and just a little lean to one side. It's really sending your energy out through your index fingers. Softly back into center. Growing tall once again in the center, leaning to the opposite side now. Softly back into the center. Make a prayer and float your prayer down in front of your heart. Just dropping the arms either side of you, tucking your chin towards your chest, rolling down one more time, vertebrae by vertebrae. Fingertips will come to the mat. Start to walk your legs behind you, finding your way into your tabletop once again. Couple of cow and cats. Sitting back into a low kneeling shape, you can swing your feet to one side of you. So you've got your legs in front. And we're going to begin setting up for our relaxation now. You can feel free to play around with a few more yoga shapes if you wish. We'll be closing this practice, relaxing on our backs. Feet on the mat, knees are bent. Softly sway your knees side to side. And let that fall away. Float your knees into the chest and give them a little hug. Rock from side to side. It's nice to keep the feet flexed so the soles of the feet are kind of facing away from you at this point. Just enjoying being massaged either side of the spine by the ground underneath you. And then you can float your soles of your feet back down to the ground. You can stay here for your relaxation with your knees bent, feet on the ground, or slide your heels away from you, lengthening the legs a little, palms facing up towards the sky. Just beginning to become aware of the breath once again. Gently let your head rock side to side. It's massaging out the tissue on the back of your head. When you're ready, you can roll onto your preferred side and push yourself up carefully into a comfortable sitting position. You might be cross-legged or you might be on your knees or legs out in front of you, doesn't matter too much. Just acknowledge yourself for taking time to practice some mindful movement for yourself today. Feel free to share this video to anybody that wants some mindful, kind of easygoing yoga practice. If that's something that you want to do, please feel free. Bring your palms together. Touch your prayer onto your chest. Take a little bow forward. Acknowledge yourself for making time to practice today. If you look at the link in the description, there's a link to my website. You can find out all about You're Enough Yoga right there. And perhaps if you feel to, you can sign up to the mailing list where you'll hear more about online classes, different yoga events and workshops that I'll be running. Once again, people, thank you so much. See you soon.